Today we're installing a windshield on the 2009 XP Ranger and newer through 2014. This is this body style of Ranger. Three things we're going to need for install is our screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, a 7/16 inch bit, and one of these star keys that's actually a T27. So if you need to check that out to get that, those are the three tools you'll need for install. All the rest is supplied. It's your windshield. This particular customer ordered a mar resistant windshield. That's why it has this white coating on it. If you order the non-mar resistant windshield, it'll have more of a clear kind of a coating. It's kind of a milky colored one, but it doesn't look, it's not white like this. So just so you know, there's two different kind of coatings on them. The windshield basically comes to you packaged up similar to this. The instructions are banded onto it right about here, and so and all your installation items you'll need to be in your bag. On this, there's two things we want to do first before we go to set the windshield on. First off, there's these straps that are here. It's easiest to move these little straps out of the way. It's easiest to unhook them from the, these nettings that are for the doors. If you unhook them, it makes them easier to slide up. I like getting them up out of the way before I start my install because my first bracket's going to go down here. After I do that, then I'm going to slide these down over the top, over that, and then pin those behind the windshield. So we just want to get that out of the way. Next thing we want to do is peel back the protective plastic on this windshield just past these holes. We don't want to peel off all the protective plastic. We just want to take it off past these holes. We stress this because of two things. One, it keeps down the mess that you may make on your windshield as you're installing it. Number two, if there is, we have you size the windshield, so that we can tilt the windshield underneath your hardtop. If for some reason you sent us the wrong measurement or in some way there's been a problem there, we may have to resize that windshield. You can return it back to us much easier with the protective plastic on it. When you take the protective plastic off of the windshield, you just bought it. You own it. And we can't return a windshield without the protective plastic. So what we're going to do is set this up on here. Brandon's going to grab that one side. We're going to set it right up on here. All we're going to focus on right to begin with, Brandon's just going to hold this thing upright for me, right like that. First thing we're going to focus on is just the two bottom brackets. Due to the bend in the roll bar, this windshield is going to form around that bend. As this bends around it, so what we want to really start off with is just this one bottom bracket right here, because this windshield is going to conform around that roll bar. We want to get this set down nice to the body before we actually do that. So we put this one on here. So just kind of finger tight that one. Screwdriver and such. But I brought my screwdriver and that over here because once I get this side set, then I'm going to set the bottom clamp in, set it down securely, and then move up the row to the other ones. That's why on this one it's really helpful to have somebody help you just to kind of keep this all in line, if you would. And what we're trying to accomplish here is we basically want the bottom of this windshield to be real close to that weld right there. Basically almost even with that weld is where the bottom of the windshield should sit. When you're tightening these screws, you use the wrench on the inside, and if you put a little force forward on the wrench, it helps to keep it aligning up actually over keeps the bolt forward of the roll bar, because you can actually suck this behind the roll bar if you don't do this right. So set that side on. Get it all nice and tight. Get this guy all nice and tight right there. And once I push it down, what I kind of do is just get my finger on the inside, pushing that bracket down, so it keeps it nice and seated down. And if it's not quite down to where you want it to be, which that one's not, now I've got a little snugger. And cinch that guy up nice and snug. If you want, now we can just, now what we're going to do is take and, what we're going to do right now is we're going to slide our straps down. Slide those down to there, so they're nice and set. You got that one down?
Does it go over the?
About center of the hump. Down as tight as you can get it to the windshield. Too carried away, that's good. And then we're going to go about setting up the next one. Okay, so what's easier is to go up to your top one. I haven't installed these for a long time. Go up to your top one, put it on, and we can come back and put that middle one down, because in that way, we're not sitting there fighting that thing, trying to bend it in the middle. So just set that one on there. And that guy slide down a little bit. Okay, and then as always, you know, what I recommend with this is to put a little force forward as you're cinching that down. Just keeps the windshield all nice and level. Tighten this guy down. And one of the things that I hadn't mentioned, but you know, is always good to do, is just check, make sure your brackets are nice and level before you get cinching them down. Yeah, one thing that you never, ever want to use on plastic, any kind, is Loctite. If you use plastic on if you use Loctite on the windshield, it will void all warranties. Loctite is designed to destroy plastic. Does not help it, it hurts it. It blows it up. It's designed for metal. And we provide you with bolts, nuts, and lock washers, and that will lock you tight, and if you use Loctite, you'll destroy your windshield. Before I actually tear off this plastic, what I would tell you to do is, if this was your windshield, is I'd check this for height. Now, if you'll notice, I'm hitting this roof just a teeny little bit right here. But if I put a little bit of lift on this roof, this windshield is going to slide right underneath this roof. And it'll give us a nice tight fit. If you don't want it to be that tight of a fit, we made this measurement 31.5 on this particular roof. You could make that measurement 31 and get that ½ inch out, and you'd have, you know, it'd barely tick the top. But it would give us a little bit of an opening over here, so we're always on trying to make them as tight as humanly possible. So that's kind of how we've done this one. And these plastic roofs flex. They're not really all that tough. So I know this windshield works, so I can peel the plastic off here if I want to. You need to verify this before you pull this plastic off. Make sure it's all the right height. If it isn't, don't tear the plastic off. If we're going to fix it, you fix it, us fix it, whichever the case may be, whichever you prefer. Having the plastic on makes it easier. If for some reason you've ordered the windshield for the wrong bike, which has happened unfortunately too many times, you take the plastic off, you own the windshield even if it doesn't fit your bike. So don't take it off. I'm going to peel this protective plastic off to the bottom, and I'm going to get my little T27 little star wrench here. I'm going to take off this inside bolt. This inside bolt right there on the hinge. And we're going to take a little black bracket and we're going to stick him right on there. Just going to cinch it down just there a little bit. And this bolt is designed, this bracket, I'll pull this windshield so it keeps it all level all the way across it here. So what we want to do is put them in loose and loose, basically. We're going to loosely put it into the windshield and loosely put it into the body. Then we're going to cinch down the body one. So this guy, it's nice and tight back down into there. Like that. We're going to do the exact same process on this opposite side. Again, taking off the inside bolt, the hinge. Started back in there. And then, like I said, just cinch that up, just loosely tighten the windshield nut. And first tighten this guy right here. Make sure these guys are nice and set. It's harder to tighten those if you've got this cinched down tight because it kind of pulls the windshield and it makes it, you're fighting it. So now that we've got that done, we're gonna tighten this guy down. And these give us our center strength, keep the windshields from moving. Don't find these on, I haven't seen these on too many windshields actually out on the market. And it's one of the things that why a lot of people's windshields move around when they're riding them and such is because they really aren't fixated to anything. So I don't want mine moving around. I'm sure you don't want yours moving around. Okay, so basically we've completed all the hard part of the install. Now what we're going to do is we're going to tear off, like I say, the windshield fits, I'm taking off the plastic. That way I can also show you a little bit better as to how it's fitting on this particular roof and kind of how we would do it to where we make it, like I say, you can make this 31 inches or you can make it 31 inches and a half. But what you want to make sure of is if you're making it 31 inches and a half is that your roof has a little bit of flex like this roof does. If you notice, this roof can flex way up. I mean, I can pop it way up above where it's even hitting this. So makes it one guy, I mean, it wasn't hard to tilt that underneath there. It's how that basically is going to function for you. Now, when we have it in the upright position, we're going to do, got a couple different things. First off, we have our center support bracket. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to put our center support in. Now, this bracket is going to sit on here just like this. So that's how we want it to sit on the, we're gonna, it's gonna hook with the bracket like this. So this is gonna be
our side, like
our end result.
Away from your head or whatever, yeah, there you go.
Our end result right there is that's how that bracket's gonna go on. So what I generally do is take and feed this side up underneath and slip it around. And we off-center the hole, so if you notice that our hole is off-centered, don't think we don't know how to get a hole in the center of the windshield. We off-center it because so many of these things got little supports right dead center. So sometimes you have to set it a little, and the bracket may bend to the ankle a little bit. So you might be on a slight angle because of that. but we try to move the hole over to accommodate for it. So we want to take this and cinch this down tight to it like that. And then we're going to take and slip this up. Okay, so we got our little bracket on here, like I said. You can see that, hopefully you can see that in there. So our bracket is set like this. This bracket is going to come up and it's going to join through this hole right here. And we're going to use our other bolt to go through here, and our wing nut and our other lock washer. Now, I find this can be easier if you just simply, you can reach over the top like this and do this guy like this to tighten up that wing nut. So we've got our wing nut and our lock washer for our center support brace right here. And that's going to give us our support, some additional center support. You can see me pushing on that. I'm trying to push on that. This is the whole reason behind this. So we can put a ton of, as you're driving this down the road, you've got plenty of structural strength up here. You've got your strength across here. You've got your strength up here, holding your windshield tight. While we've got it in that upright position, just so you can kind of see, if you follow from that if you follow from the weld up, the hinge is at 13 3/4 of an inch. So just a little note there. And due to the way you sit in this Ranger, you're really actually quite high off of the, you sit pretty high in this Ranger. So this lip, I'm just an average height guy, but he's nice and down below my line of sight. Where my line of sight is up here, this hinge is down here, so I've got a good view without it being an obstruction. But then when we are done and we're going to tilt it down, it gives us a nice half windshield. Once we have the center support bracket though in place, in the upright position, what we're going to put on now is our 4 Velcro straps. These go through these 4 slots, smooth side facing in, buckle on the top, bring it around, hook it through that, cinch it tight. Same thing, obviously, all the way around. This is how we would ride with it going down the road. It gets cold, it gets wet, gives you some good protection. One of the things about our design is that, some people may be a little concerned that there might be a little bit of gap right here. I tell you, you might get a small amount of water in. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be 0 water. However, your arm's going to be bathed in water, so it's all relative to a certain extent, right? You're not seeing dry, it's keeping it off your face. What this opening, though, does is that when it's cold and dusty, it allows for some circulation to go through this cab, and so it's not stale and stagnant. They talk about so that has been a good feature, actually. Now, it's warm, or we're towing our vehicle down the road. Our windshielders are designed to be towed in the down position only, so I'm going to take off my center support bracket and basically take this guy off. And then I honestly take that right at that time, take my little bracket and hook it right back up onto there so that I don't lose any of this stuff. Got it the next time I go to put my windshield up. Just kind of tighten that up there a little bit. Now I'm going to tilt this down. I'm going to unstrap these 4 straps. And as we've already showed, that this roof we're tied to this roof, so we're going to see that tight. It doesn't really even do, it's not too much work to get it out from underneath there. Now, in strapping down the windshield for our towing position, or when we want to drive around with the windshield in the half position, we're going to put our first strap on. And it's the smooth side facing out, clip to the top. Next strap, second strap is so the first strap goes through, smooth side facing out, clip to the top. Second strap, smooth side facing in, clip to the front. Take that like that. Now, right now, all I'm going to do is barely pull on that. got to put some bumpers on here, and I want some movement in this windshield. So I'm going to come over here to this side, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Again, smooth side facing out, clip to the top. Smooth side facing in, clip to the front, wrap it around. Basically what this process does is give us a double Velcro. We're Velcroing the one strap to this strap, the other, they're Velcroing to each other, so it gives it a greater strength. Now, one of those things to keep an eye on is your straps. If we have special made straps made for our company specifically. This company makes these for us specifically for what we do. They're high strength. They're double woven and all these fancy things, and the nickel clips on them and all that, so they last a long time. But if they get worn out, it's just like anything else when you're towing down the road. The straps need to be of quality. If they get worn, replace them. Because when you're going down the freeway, it's not just the 75, 80 miles an hour you're traveling, but it's also the wind shears and all those different things that come into play that the windshields really go through a lot of stress on them, so you want to try to protect against that. Now what I'm going to do, got 4 of these little rubber bumpers that come in your pack, and I see where it's going to hit my body right there, and I'm going to, this is why we don't hook it down tight to begin with, so that we can put that little bumper on there. Now that bumper's just sitting there right center of that, protects the hood, protects the windshield, so that your paint job doesn't get messed up and your windshield doesn't get messed up. And again, we're gonna come over here, do that one right there, and then really where the other point that it hits is right here in the center. So we're going to come a little bit off the center this way. Oh. Just don't push them down until you've got them in the spot you want them in, because they stick. Very good. So just mess with it until you get it to where you like it. That's nice and centered. Get this one over here. I got him a little bit too far forward. And voila. Now our windshield, as you can see, is resting on these 4 bumpers. Now we're getting it ready to be towed down the road. What we're going to do is we're going to put some force on this guy, and we're going to pull him really tight. We're going to secure this strap to the back, and then we're going to wrap this strap around here. So this guy is double Velcroed there. That one's secured to there, the outside one's secured to that. Going to go around here and do the exact same thing on this other side. We're just going to pull it down really nice and snug. Okay, so now we're nicely secured down into the down position. And as you can see, this windshield is going nowhere. Okay, it's set there. A couple of the advantages to your tilt windshields. As I mentioned, you can open it when it's dusty and such. Another main advantage with all windshields, I don't care if they're mar resistant or non-mar windshields, you need to wash them off with water first. The advantage to a tilt windshield, I don't know, and in truth, I don't know how you maintain a full non-tilting windshield. I'm not even sure how you maintain it, because when it's in the upright position, I'm not sure how you can wash this off with water on the trail. You can understand how you do it with your power washer when you get home, but that isn't when you need to see through it and drive. So with ours, basically what you would do is take off the straps, release your center support, tilt your windshield down, and we're going to wash this off with water right here. Any mud or dirt, we're just going to rinse that all off. We rinse off the fine dirts and dust. Now we can just wash it off with a clean cloth. Mar, non-mar windshield, you're not going to be scratching them. Tilt it up and do the exact same thing. Help reduce your dirt and dust on them. We have a product that's called Novus One. It's an anti-static, dust repellent kind of a product. Works really well to spritz on your windshield after you've washed it off with water. You wash it off with water, you spritz a little bit on there. We have a video on how to clean your windshield properly on our website as well, so check that one out. But it goes over how to clean this properly. We sell the Novus. Microfiber cloths are always recommended. They're the best at cleaning them. And really, for the most part, that's all there is to it, folks. Thanks for your business. Enjoy your windshield and have a great day.